Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 10 meetings per month, or actually I should say 10 meetings per week webinar. This is a brand new webinar that I'm super excited to bring you guys tons and tons of content. I'm going to walk through what everybody's kind of their big nemesis right now, which is LinkedIn. So I'm going to show you how my team booked 80 meetings literally in July. And that is July of 2019. So this is a live webinar that I'm going to be doing for you guys. Super pumped about it. So let's get right to it. I'm going to share my screen, and you guys should be able to see everything I got. And we'll go get rolling here. Let me just get my screen shared here. Okay, so we call this the cold lead blueprint. Kind of the whole point of it is to show you guys how important it is to make sure that you are generating leads using cold strategies. I totally understand that everybody has referrals and all this other stuff that comes in, but the bottom line is you can't control that. You cannot control referrals. You cannot control all those different things. So you have to build lead generation strategies into your business, period. And a lot of people say to me, well, I'm really focused on, and keep in mind that my vertical that I market to traditionally with my coaching business is the managed IT service providers. These are outsourced IT service providers that deliver help desk services and server management and backup management and cybersecurity and all these different things. That's who I focus on, and that's the vertical. So you'll see that I practice what I preach with this entire thing across the board. And it's really, really important that you have this in place. And if you have cash flow, all these IT companies come to me and say, well, I need to focus on IT. If you have cash flow, you can do anything you want in your business. That's the bottom line. So keep in mind that that is the case. And let's get rolling on today's content. Now, a couple things that I want to make sure you guys understand. First of all, I need your attention today. This is probably roughly a 1 hour long broadcast, maybe a little bit longer. We'll see where it goes. But please turn off your cell phones. I know they're important to you, but turn them off, okay? Turn off Facebook, turn off LinkedIn. If you really want to do this, and if you're serious about getting results with the systems and processes I'm going to show you today, the next 60 to 90 minutes will absolutely change your life and your company. Lead generation can be a huge, massive tool. LinkedIn is one of those pieces. I'm also going to show you a little bit about cold email, a couple other pieces in there. My team is using all this stuff, and we are generating anywhere between 30 and 100 leads per month every single month. And keep in mind, I have one closer right now. I'm just about to add 2 cold callers that are going to do cold prospecting, which all of this comes together to build just a giant machine that really, really works. So keep all that in mind. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Chris Weiser. What do I do? That's what I look like. Obviously, you're seeing me on camera. Those of you that are watching, I do a lot of public speaking. Obviously, I do some modeling. No, it's not a model. That's my blue steel face that you see there. But I formerly had an IT services business. That's kind of why I focus on that vertical that I was talking about. I had that business for 10 plus years. I was based in the Milwaukee market, and I sold that business in June of 2015 for 7+ figures. I had a very healthy exit. Was very happy about that. A lot of people ask me, why did you sell? If you had such a popular company, why did you sell? Check in hand is better than potential cash down the road. That's the bottom line. I did okay, but I was very, what's the right word? I was very chaotic. I had a lot of things in my life that I was not that good at, and I just needed a little bit of a fresh start, and cash can do that for you. So, and I learned a long time ago, I had a previous investment in a internet service provider, which ended up not panning out, and they didn't sell. They had an offer for $10 million between 3 partners to sell. I was a 10% owner in that company. They had an offer for $10 million. I was 22 years old, and they said no because they wanted more. Well, they ended up basically disbanding the company like 3 or 4 or 5 years later, and nobody got anything. And it just is a great example of why. So that's the why for me. And after I sold my IT firm, I focused on finding ways to help other entrepreneurs and individuals build more leads, lead gen, recurring revenue, all these different things. You'll see all this term that I use called MRR throughout this. It's monthly recurring revenue. Bottom line is recurring revenue that runs. Today I had a $9,000 day, and I didn't sell a thing. I didn't have to do anything. It was automated, and it came in. It was monthly recurring revenue that came in. And those are things that you really want to do. Part of that is lead gen, right? My Facebook ads course, Facebook Ads for Beginners, has instructed over 500 students, and there's over hundreds of students in the mastermind. It's really, really done well. Super happy about my Facebook ads course, and that's gone really well over time. And my current Chris Miser's Inner Circle, I have one-on-one and group coaching. Those programs have over 100 members with all seeing massive revenue and MRR increases. So these are all viable things that happen. And if any of you have questions about any of this, you're absolutely more than welcome to watch this and ask questions as we go. So bottom line, if you stay until the end, I want you focused, obviously, as you go. But what I'm going to give you is brand new content. Nobody in the world has this except for my assistant, Tiffany, and myself. It's our free LinkedIn Ultimate Sales Kit. That includes my LinkedIn Lead Gen Cheat Sheet. This is literally a walkthrough of everything that you get, a full cheat sheet of everything that we're going to go through today and some more. My LinkedIn Lead Gen checklist that goes right along with the cheat sheet. My LinkedIn Lead Gen flowchart that kind of shows the path of everything and how you should be doing this. And then also the scripts my team used to book those 80+ meetings in the month of July in 2019 on specifically using LinkedIn. So you have to stay to the end to get that link. Otherwise, you will not see it, and it will not be sent out to people that didn't come here live. Okay, so note that. This recording will be edited, and they will not see that. So you have to stay until the end, bottom line. So let's talk about what we're all kind of here to talk about. That's LinkedIn. How many of you are actually on LinkedIn? Let's see a couple, some stuff in the chat here if you guys can do that for me. I got a lot of people live. How many? Yeah, so we got a bunch of participants. Their hands are going up. Got a bunch of stuff on the chat. So that's awesome to see. So we got a lot of people on LinkedIn. So here's my question that goes along with that. I don't mean just on LinkedIn. And we got tons and tons of people raising their hand. I don't mean just on LinkedIn. How many of you are actually using it for lead gen? That's a big factor. Think about that. Most of the people's LinkedIns that I talk to, they're all just sitting there. They have a LinkedIn profile and they're just waiting. What are you waiting for, right? It's time to start using LinkedIn the way that you should be, which is actually lead generation, meetings, appointments, all these different things. But you got to start by thinking about what is your goal. What is it there for? What is LinkedIn there for? Is it there for lead gen? Now, if you're all a business owner, we have a lot of people that are business owners on this call right now. Lead gen is probably your biggest goal, but you haven't been using it that way. It's just been sitting there, right? Think about that. Is it to get traffic, drive traffic to your posts? Or maybe those of you that are on here that are salespeople or employees, it's an online resume. Now, that's not necessarily the best fit. I'm not going to talk about necessarily those last two items today. I'm going to specifically talk about lead gen today, but think about that. What's your goal with LinkedIn? And you need to move it to my goal is lead gen, period. And if you really want to use LinkedIn to get leads and meetings, you have to have a strategy. That strategy is really, really key. Everything in life works better with a strategy. Think about losing weight. My clients, my coaching clients know, I talk about this all the time. I'm trying to lose weight right now. I'm a little bit chubby and I don't like to exercise, so that's kind of a factor. But if I just do it willy-nilly and not have any type of a structure or strategy or plan, I'm not going to have a whole lot of success. Now, if I put a meal plan in place, if I put an exercise regimen in place, and I put some type of accountability in place, I'm going to see success. It's not going to be overnight, but it's going to happen. A lot of people want this stuff overnight. They just want immediate, instant success. It's kind of our instant gratification strategy of life and today's culture. But it's really important that you have a strategy and you take some time and let it percolate for a little bit. Not just set it and forget it. None of this is set it and forget it. Now, that's all well and good, but let's get to the guts of why we're here today, how to get that 10+ meetings per week. Now, I understand that my team got 20 meetings per week. That's just a scale factor. That's all that is. You should be able to get, and I'll give you a great example of this. One of my clients, Whit Taylor, literally put a brand new CPA campaign in place last week, put it in place for Facebook in some groups, and put it in place on LinkedIn. He generated 6 meetings last week. And people raised their hands. All kinds of those people were doing that just based on using the strategies that I'm going to talk about today. So that's a really important thing. What would you do with five meetings a week every week? If you put time in and you follow the strategies that I'm going to show you today, this will happen, period. It will happen. Not going to happen overnight, but it will happen, okay? So first of all, you have to make sure that you build your ideal vertical target. What does that mean exactly? What makes them ideal? What makes your target ideal? Is it being a top client, and what defines those top clients? What makes them better? Think about what makes your clients better. Mine, for the factor, and I have a very specific client that I go after, but long-term deals, they pay on time, they're not a pain in the ass, there's that PETA factor, there's always that there, that's what I call it, the PETA factor. All those things define your top client and maybe define your top verticals, but then start to dig deeper in that as well. Do you want decision makers? Do you want a specific title? These are all things that we're going to look at on LinkedIn in a second here. Do you have a specific number of employees that you're going after? All those things are important factors to determining a ideal client. Far too many businesses, business owners, business decision makers, whatever. I don't care if you're a two-man shop running a chiropractic or IT office, or if you're a 100-person firm, they aim far too low. They're looking to hit singles a lot. And you kind of don't necessarily do this by nature, but or by plan, I should say, but humans kind of do this by nature, is they oftentimes aim for the easy target. Now, what I will tell you is if you hit singles, you're going to hit some singles, and what's also going to happen is you're going to strike out a good amount. But if you're hitting if you're aiming for home runs and hitting for home runs and swinging for home runs, and I'm a baseball, football, sports fan, so if you're doing that, and it can reference across any sport, but if you're going after those bigger targets, you're going to hit some home runs once in a while. Yeah, you'll strike out once in a while, but you're going to hit some home runs. My very first IT services client was a 125 employee orthopedic clinic back in 2005. Look at the size of that. Whereas most of the people that I talk with are going after 3 to 4 to 10 person shops that they're trying to get into because they think it's going to be an easier sale. So make sure that that's all a factor as you go through deciding who your ideal client is. That is a big deal. Now take those metrics and focus on a very specific vertical. It is very important. You think about my business. Who do I focus on? I don't focus on IT service providers and doctors and clinic owners or plastic surgeons. I don't focus on all of them because it's different types of decisions and it's different types of communication that I have with them. I focus on specifically managed IT service providers. And I have a worldwide focus. So that's not a matter. So I have a huge amount of people that I can pull from. But the bottom line is your market. And I'm not saying this is only who you work with. I'm saying this is who you specifically target in a marketing campaign. That is a very specific plan, and it is purposeful. Keep in mind, it is purposeful, and there's a strategy behind it. Now, take a second while I'm sitting here and write down your ideal client. That could be an ideal vertical too. And if you're an IT service provider on this broadcast, think about, is it orthopedic surgeons? Is it plastic surgeons? Is it eye surgeons? Those are all three medical. What about certified public accountants? What about elderly care facilities? All those are really good targets. Think about those things that are made there. Let's go back to this slide here. Is it, think about the decision maker, think about the title, think about the number of employees, think about the amount of revenue that you could potentially charge. The bigger you want them to be, the better you're going to be off. So think about making sure you have a specific vertical and write down that ideal client or ideal vertical as we go. And what's important as you go is you have to make them feel pain. Now, I'm gonna say something here specifically to the IT service provider crowd because that's a majority who's going to watch this broadcast with me today and the recording as we go here. But you have to make sure that you diagnose before you prescribe. You can't just walk in the door and be like, yep, sure, shoot from the hip and pull that out of your bum and give them some type of a number. There's no pain involved. And if you don't have pain involved, they won't make an emotional decision. Emotion is what ties into the fear factor of this may cause a problem. Let's just take cybersecurity or hacking or some of these other things. It's a big deal right now. It's a huge topic across the world. Everybody is involved. All the news cycles right now are seeing breaches. That Equifax breach affected almost everybody. If there's no emotion involved with that, they're not going to make a decision that's best for their company. So you have to make sure you make them feel pain, and they have to see emotion, to see that it's real to them. It could happen. What's the budget for my child has cancer and we need to get a fix? They don't go to the top three. They don't do an RFP and go to the top three the top three products and then decide based on the lowest price. They go to whoever they have to because it's an immediate decision. So think about all those things. You have to make them feel the pain, and the more it hurts, the more you can heal. Sell to the problem you solve, not a service. Stop selling services. Sell to the problem you solve, period. That's really important. And along with that, you have to create a deliverable. And you'll see how this all kind of comes together as we go here in a few minutes. But that deliverable is really, really important. A couple deliverable examples for you. Cheat sheets. You saw that I have a cheat sheet for you today. That's a deliverable. That's something that I'm giving you as part of this webinar. Also, strategy guides are good. How-to videos, checklists. You see two of those in there that I'm giving you, a cheat sheet and a checklist. You can also offer a free strategy call. I do posts on a regular basis to where I'm opening up my calendar. I'm giving you a free strategy call. That's me building trust with people. Get them in, they need help, I give them free answers and push them to potentially book an appointment with my sales team. Those are all important things. You can also give a free version of your service depending on what you have. That's the free trial that's out there for a lot of software products. That's part of it there. So those are all a couple deliverables you can give to get people interested in what you're doing for them. Okay? But here's the deal. There is a secret to getting people to respond to that deliverable. Keep in mind, let's reread that again. There is a secret to getting people to respond to that deliverable. Who wants to know what that is? Let's see a show of hands here live with me again. Oh, we got tons and tons and tons going up. So that's awesome. Here's the key, folks. I love seeing we got tons and tons of hands going up. I love it. That's awesome. Here's the key. You have to deliver real, true value. This is majorly important. This is the most important thing, because if you're not delivering value for people, they just aren't going to care. And I'm going to give you a couple different ways to deliver real, true value here right now. Keep in mind, first thing, it's got to be vertical specific. You just heard me kind of walk through picking that ideal client, that ideal vertical. That's a really important thing, but it also has to promise a quick win. Think about that deliverable I'm giving you as part of this webinar today. I'm giving you a deliverable that states specifically you're going to get my free LinkedIn Ultimate Sales Kit. That kit gives instant quick wins, and it's vertical specific. It solves a real problem, giving you the ability to hit that real sales issue that people have on LinkedIn. And it has to be super, super simple. That stuff has to be something that people understand almost instantly, because if you make it complex or overly complicated, they're going to be like, I don't know. And the confused mind says no. This is something my students hear me say all the time. The confused mind says no. People have to pause to think about what it is, they're moving. They're gone already. You have to keep it stupid simple all the time. And you also want it so it builds your expertise. You have to make it so it makes you look better. You think about all that stuff that I have in my cheat sheet that I'm giving you guys. It's all based on building my expertise, making me an expert in your eyes. That's all important. I'm giving you guys some of my back-end ideas here. You also have to make it instantly available. Now, I have a 1 hour delay on what I'm doing here because I have a 1 hour webinar that I'm training you on. But the bottom line is that's pretty instant. I'm just trying to keep your attention and to keep you on the webinar for a while. I'm giving out true value. I'm giving out things that are important. And then I'm trying to keep your attention till the end so I can give you that deliverable. So keep in mind, all those things are key to getting people. Now, let's back up really quick. That's key to delivering real, true value. Think about the things that you're putting in front of people. And I'm going to give you a great example of this. I have one of my clients, his name is Steve Haviland. He's from Wichita Falls. And I believe it's Wichita Falls, Texas, actually, if I remember right. But he's like border of Texas and the top of Texas is where he is. I don't even know the damn states. I think it's, whatever. Doesn't matter. But Steve came to me about 6 months ago, and he was struggling with a couple of deliverables that he was doing. He was trying to get into the fundraising crowd, the nonprofit crowd, I should say. He was trying to get into the nonprofit crowd. And one of the things that he couldn't do is get people to download his deliverable. Well, his deliverable was super complicated, and the names were just blah. And I told him, first thing I told him, I was like, Steve, you need to make that title way more sexy. Doesn't necessarily have to mean that the content is different, because you just want people to raise their hand. They just want to raise their hand and say, yes, I'm interested in that. Click, click, click. Doesn't necessarily mean that the content is different, but that title has to be sexy. So you have to deliver that real, true value in the deliverable that you're giving them. And he went from having, I think it was like a random IT services guide to fundraising to the nonprofit's guide to fundraising. Look how simple, like super, super simple. He delivered all these different things inside of that. We added this to what he was doing, and all of a sudden he went from no conversions to going into Facebook groups and driving massive amounts of numbers to download his deliverable. And did he get hundreds of clients? No, but he got hundreds of downloads, which resulted in multiple clients. So that's a big factor. And this is, yes, he is an IT service provider using Facebook and using LinkedIn. I don't know how much he's using LinkedIn right now. He's in my coaching, but I haven't managed that with him. But the bottom line is he's using these cold lead gen platforms to drive leads to his bottom line and get people into his sales funnel. And so it's really key. So make sure you document those 6 ways to deliver value: vertical specific, promises a quick win, solves a real problem, simple, 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 builds your expertise, and instantly available. Those are really key factors. That is your true secret. Doesn't seem like much of a secret, but if you think about it, it's really critical to making sure that that happens, okay? And with all that in mind, let's talk about how we get to the people that make that delivery possible. That's a really big factor. This is kind of where LinkedIn comes into play. Now, since you picked your vertical, it's time to build your list. That list is, besides the vertical and that deliverable, like those are the two things that I recommend in number one, number two, but that list is number three most important. And I recommend using LinkedIn Sales Navigator and Linked Helper. Now, LinkedIn Sales Navigator is a product from LinkedIn. It is $80 a month at its cheapest version. This is, yes, it costs money. I totally understand. Here's what I'm going to recommend to you guys. Nothing good in technology that's free let me clarify that. Nothing in technology that's free is good. How about that? That's clear. So all of your tools that you should be using on all of this, you should be paying money for. I pay for LinkedIn Sales Navigator for my whole team. I pay for Linked Helper. We also have Duck Soup. We have various other products, and I'm going to kind of walk you through some of those. I also have various other CRM platforms and things, but on bottom line, I'm using zero, keep in mind, zero free tools. None of this stuff is beneficial if it's free. So LinkedIn Sales Navigator, I'm going to walk you through that and help you in a second here. Let me just stop my share for 1 second. I'm going to get back to my screen. I'm going to start that share up again here, and I'm going to show you guys a couple different things on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So give me 1 second. All right, sharing my screen up here again. All right, here we go. And I know I have a bunch of questions in the chat. I will be answering that as we go on at the end, okay? So just so you guys know that. So I am logged in here to LinkedIn Sales Navigator, bottom line. This is, again, a paid product. I'm in LinkedIn Sales Navigator Professional. It is $80 per month. They do have a free 30-day trial on it. So go try it. Do everything I'm doing here. You'll see. I also have the extension Linked Helper that I use. Now, this is a paid product, and I'm going to throw a caveat out here. I am using the paid product version that comes from them. That is a browser extension, but it's not available in the Chrome store. It's a developer edition. LinkedIn has definitely been cracking down on people using tools and other things. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I'm doing for how I build lists and how I export those lists, and I'll show you guys that today. But bottom line is, you got to be super careful. All of this stuff I'd recommend, unless you're advanced like I am, not necessarily using the third-party tools. I'm going to show you how to do it inside of Sales Navigator, but be super careful on doing this because you got to be careful about getting your stuff banned. Lazy doesn't work here. And I do no automation on our messaging. I do no automation on any of our connections. I do only automation on our list building because it's a massive amounts of lists all the time. Can totally be done by hand. It just saves time. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to go here and search, and I'm going to bring up this previous search. This is actually how LinkedIn does its normal search. You'll see it here. And you can see here that I was working with a client that has, you can see we focus on a specific vertical, and I'm going to kind of wipe some of these out, but you'll see what I'm doing here. The bottom line is we searched for the keywords executive director in San Antonio, Texas, in the hospital and healthcare vertical, which means that we're probably going to pull up executive director is going to mean that we're more than likely going to pull up nonprofits. You notice that we went after a specific vertical that was elderly care facilities. That's what we went after. Company headcount, remember I said, searching for little bigger companies, 11 to 50 and 51 to 200. These are all tools that you can use inside of LinkedIn Sales Navigator to search for it. And I just want to show you, and I'm not going to go through the whole how I build everything from scratch because you guys can record this and or you can watch the recording on this and kind of see what we did. But the bottom line is look at the list that we were able to build just by looking at these specific things. And you see here, it's giving me also try CEO, also try Chief Executive Officer, also try Marketing Director. Now, the reason I chose Executive Director as the keyword is because we're going after elderly care facilities, nonprofit. Nonprofit usually has the title of Executive Director. The decision maker is Executive Director. So you can play with it and see what you got. But the bottom line, let's go through and look at some of the results we had. Executive Director at All County Home Care and Hospice. Perfect. Executive Director at Greater San Antonio Healthcare Foundation. Not necessarily an elderly care facility, but still a good option. Look at some of these other ones. Executive Medical Director at Star Vascular Access Center. Chief Executive Officer and Partner at Abundant Staffing and Abundant Senior Living Solutions. These are all really, really good ones. Regional Director of Operations at Memory Care America. Excuse me. Executive Director at Hope Hospice. So my point is, Sales Navigator gives us the ability to search these different pieces and to build these different offerings the right way. So it's really, really cool. And bottom line is you look at how many results we have. We have only 202 results. I can select all. I can save them to lists. I can tag them. I can do various different things. I'm not going to dive into all that today, but this is how we build our list, and this is how we do it on Sales Navigator. I can then use Linked Helper, and you can see Linked Helpers down here. I can use LinkedIn Helper or Linked Helper to actually collect these second and third collections, and you'll see this here. I'm going to stop this really quick here. I'm going to make a brand new list. You'll see this is just a feature inside of Linked Helper, and you'll see how cool this is. So I'm going to call this, I'll just say ED San Antonio. Okay, I'm going to create that. Now, what'll happen is I collect contacts for inviting, and you'll kind of watch this go here. The already collected number here, you'll see it go from slide to slide, screen to screen. It's down to 25, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to I'll go to the second page, and I'm going to stop just so you guys can see what's going on. Let it finish. There we got 50, so I'm going to stop. Now I can go view collected. This is where Linked Helper is really awesome. So you can see I have all of my ones that were exported here real time. I can then click select all, and I can click download selected and dump it into a Google Sheet CSV file. So that's why I use Linked Helper right there, because it allows me to automate that side of things. Now, you can absolutely do this by hand, and I'm going to kind of talk about some of that stuff here as we go and get a little bit deeper. But you can see that I now just built a list. That was just 50 contacts in what, 30 seconds, 45 seconds? You can build a list of thousands by doing it that way, and it really, really works well. Keep in mind, Linked Helper does allow you to do automated messaging. It also allows you to do automated contact connection, but I do not recommend either of those because LinkedIn is definitely cracking down. This is a lot easier, and it doesn't pull anything except for the contact. So this is definitely what I recommend, okay? One other thing I want to show you guys really quick here is a lot of people ask me, let me just close this out really quick. They ask me how I determine the industry of what I want to go after. This is kind of a LinkedIn trick that I have defined. One of the things that I do, and I'm just going to search here, one of my old clients, Annex Wealth Management, they were in Milwaukee, and you can just search for them, and you can see right after that is their category. So find an ideal client. I'll do another one. You notice that was a wealth management company. I'm going to do another one, Coal Investments. Let's see here. Here's Coal Investment Group. You can see they're another wealth management company, but they're financial services. So it's showing you the categories that you should be searching under. That category we see right here, whether it was the actual wealth services that was Annex or the financial services that is Coal Investment Group, that's what you choose here in the industry. You can see here then we have financial, there's financial services, and then the other one was investment management. So that's a little LinkedIn trick to kind of show you guys that. So bottom line, that's a couple things that I want to show you there. I got a bunch of questions coming up. I'm going to come back and circle to those at the end just so you guys know that. I'm going to go back to my slide deck here really quick so you guys know that. Let's come back to the slide deck. All right, here we go. So hopefully you guys like what I had to show you in terms of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. I highly recommend doing that. It is an $80 a month product. Linked Helper is a $15 a month product. Keep in mind, you can do all of it without Linked Helper. I just like to build lists that way, and then I give it to my team, okay? So keep all that in mind. So now you can start out by sending connection requests, and I recommend with starting out with no more than 50 to 90 per day. Keep in mind, you have to have a pretty decent sized list to do this. Now you have to be careful because, and here's the challenge, depending on what type of sales you do. If you were a national company, super easy. Like I'm going after IT service providers, and I have the ability to build hundreds and thousands of people in lists, and we just build them all the time, and we put them in, and then we mine them, and I'll kind of show you a little bit how we do that. But the bottom line is, if you have a smaller market focus, you have to do this for multiple verticals. So if your bottom line is if your vertical is smaller, tighter, then you have to expand your search range. But if your vertical is if your search range is smaller, then you have to expand your verticals. So just keep that in mind. And we found that more than 90 connections per day, which is technically 2,700 per month if you do the 90 times 30 kind of mindset, that's 2,700 connections per month. That throws up red flags with LinkedIn, so be very careful on that. If you're doing everything by hand, I guess it really doesn't matter, but you also can scale your business up and do more. You know, if you do I'd say 90 for 3 months. You could probably do a few more. We do 90 and I leave it at that because I just don't want to toy with getting my LinkedIn account banned, bottom line, okay? So just keep that in mind. And you manually track those in a spreadsheet. We just have a basic spreadsheet. We still do this to this day. We track this inside of the spreadsheet. Note, all of you that are getting the Ultimate LinkedIn Sales Kit, I have all the examples of how we do that at the end and inside of that kit. So you guys can see that we still, to this day, manually track this stuff in a spreadsheet, and it absolutely works, and it works well for my team. We also have multiple virtual assistants helping. I'll talk about that in a second. So here's some of the examples. In fact, these are the exact scripts that we used, that my salesperson, Kathy, and her virtual assistant used to get 80 meetings in the month of July, period. That was July 2019. Here's a good example of our connection request. Now, keep in mind, the connection request does not have to be custom. I've seen very little difference, literally less than 2% difference of having a custom connection request and a default connection request. Because here's the thing you got to remember. Where are people using LinkedIn these days? On their phones. So for the fact that they're using it on their phone, rarely do they read that. LinkedIn redacts all that stuff. So you don't even see it. All you see is basically the connection request and then like the first line of it. And rarely even think about your own personal behavior. Rarely do I even use that, bottom line, is I don't use it at all, almost never. But that's Kathy's actual connection request. And we were getting really good numbers. Keep in mind, all the things that we built, that we talked about ahead of time, we found the right vertical. We built a really good list. That is, you heard me talk about the numbers and the important things. That building that list, choosing that vertical is really critical, and then making sure that we built a really solid list. That vertical is key though, right? That is very key. And making sure that list is solid. Upon acceptance of the request, now keep in mind also, depending on the vertical that you choose, certain people are going to be really, really responsive on LinkedIn and certain people are not. We've kind of seen that CPAs in the IT service provider industry, CPAs are really, really on LinkedIn and they're really paying attention to it. Versus we've seen that lawyers, on the other hand, are not that on LinkedIn. You got to kind of figure it. Testing is key. It's going to take some time. So acceptance of requests, thanks so much for the connection. And here's where you drop a little value and give them some type of a trickle of what your deliverable is. I would love to learn more about your organization and see if there may be an opportunity for me to help generate new clients. What is one thing that I know that my client needs? Now, this is specifically working with the IT service provider community. I'm giving them something they need, they want. I've researched that. I know that they are really looking for new clients. Versus like a dentist, would it really matter that I would bring them new clients unless I was talking specific things? What things would help a dentist? You have to research that. What things would help a lawyer? What things would help a CPA firm? Depending on your type of client and your product, you have to make sure that that deliverable goes back to the real value, and as all this stuff ties together, you can't leave out any of these little pieces because it's really key. So back to the message, would you be interested in a brief overview of how we are helping other MSPs, and note that's a very industry, so this is industry-specific language, other MSPs, managed service providers, grow their client base and increase MRR. So I'm focusing on things that I know the IT service provider needs. New clients, grow their client base, talking about MSPs specifically, so it's unique language, and increase MRR. Those are four things that those are all keywords and power words that are key to getting them. Notice it's very short, not this giant monster message. Super simple, super simple. And our goal is only to get them to respond. That's it. We just want them to say yes. Yeah, I'd like to hear more, period. That's all you want them to do is get them to raise their hand. If they say yes to information, if I have and you see this is kind of Kathy's notes, if I have a contact number, I call and book the strategy call right away while they're hot. So she's literally, think about this. This is a key factor, folks. This is a big, big deal right there. Instead of relying on a set it and forget it mindset or, oh, I don't want to pick up the phone, she, as a salesperson, she lets the VA, first of all, let me back up real quick. She lets the VA do step 1 and step 2 here. So that's automated a little bit, human automated, but still. So VA is a virtual assistant. We have people in the Philippines that are doing this work. Kathy has her own. Like my head salesperson is Kathy Lovett. She has her very own dedicated virtual assistant. They manage this stuff. Now she does this, but think about how different the numbers are there. The mass amounts of numbers don't matter, and we have the VA doing that. But when it gets down to touching the prospect, she takes over. So if I have a contact number, I call them on the phone, physical phone call. This is how you book an appointment. I call and book a strategy call. I'm here to help you. I want to generate leads for you. I want to help you with your business. I want to help you grow your business. I want to help you grow your MRR. Boom, call them. They're hot. Boom, she gets it. She booked over half our meetings that way. No contact number. Now this happens. Now doesn't mean they're not going to necessarily give you the contact number, but you have Google, you have all kinds of these different pieces. We show you how to do this inside of my coaching and all these different things, but we have all these different pieces from Google to their website to all kinds of stuff. You may not have it in LinkedIn, but you have Google and you have all these other things. And she says, I'm thrilled to hear this. Please look at the attached, go to sevenfiguremsp.com, and should I follow up with you? And the other half went there, and we retarget them and various other things. I'm not going to talk about all that today. You can see how simple that is. It's super, super simple, super basic. And people come to me and they're like, Chris, your scripts suck. Okay, they're simple. They have power words in them. And if you don't identify the fact that they have power words in them and they're specifically going after that vertical, they're hitting on things that are very critical to that individual business, that's what happens. So don't get the simplicity of the script and the mindset get in your way. Also, keep in mind that this is somewhat, we tweak this a lot. Keep in mind that this is not necessarily, none of this is set it and forget it. Specifically, IT providers want to do that a lot. They just want everything to be automated and I don't want to touch it. Sales and lead gen is not that way. I'm telling you guys, it is not that way. For all the rest of you that are watching that are not in the IT services community, just make sure you focus on those power words and make sure you focus on a vertical specific message. That is key. And this is a strategy that should be built and grown and matured over time. And for every connection request that accepts, you can see that Kathy offered something. Now she was picking up the phone, but send them the deliverable we discussed above, totally free. Give that something to them that's there. And remember, you're not trying to score a touchdown on a single play. And now I went from baseball over to football, but you're not trying to get a home run on your first pitch or touchdown on your single play. You're simply trying to get them to raise their hand. That's it. That's all you're trying to do. You get them to say, yes, Chris, I would like to talk with you because you sound like you know what you're talking about. And if they don't, they don't. Who cares? Numbers. Sales is a numbers game. That's all it's about. If you hit 1,000 of these leads, you're probably going to get 250 that are going to potentially connect with you. Out of that, you're probably going to get 50 to 75 to 100 that are going to say yes, they're interested. And then you're probably going to get another 30 to 50 that click on it. It is a numbers game, period. Okay, so remember all that. And if your deliverable does all the above, you'll start to establish trust. That's the first step to a building authority and to landing meetings. Now, also realize about 10% of your people that you touch will actually buy from you. Keep in mind, they're not necessarily trying to buy right away. The buy-in is actually clicking, raising their hand, or doing some of this stuff. The follow-up is the key. Making sure that you nurture them is the key. We get multiple meetings. We had 5 appointments booked today. Nobody touched them. They just came in through our nurture sequences. It just happens, right? So if you have to make sure you build that, and I'm not going to talk about nurture sequences today, but you have to make sure that you put email nurture sequences in place. If you don't know how to do that, or if you don't know what about that, we show you how to do that in my coaching. You can reach out to me or my team, or you can look in our LinkedIn Academy that we're going to talk about here shortly. So nurture sequences, bottom line, follow-up. That's follow-up emails, follow-up LinkedIn messages, also follow-up Facebook ads, chasing them around the internet, follow-up Google ads, chasing them around the internet again, follow-up LinkedIn ads, chasing them around LinkedIn. All those things matter. Even YouTube ads. I'm not going to talk about YouTube today, but we're starting to get into YouTube ads on my side. The bottom line is you're chasing them around, showing them your expertise, showing them how smart you are and how good you are about chasing them around. And then eventually they find something of value that they click on and they come after you. Now, it's also important to remember that you can eventually drive them, and you should be doing this, and you kind of saw this in Kathy's message. In fact, let me back up here and show this. See that last thing? She drove them to a URL. That's a very important thing. That's my 7-figure MSP system. That is really key. And you all can go there and take a look at it. Even if you're not in the IT services industry right now, go and do that. You can look at it as a live system that is geared to be very industry-specific verbiage. Keep in mind, this is a live system. So if you book on the opt-in and go through the whole thing, you're going to start getting pings and you're going to start getting chased around the internet by me. Also, if you fill out an application and book a call, you'll see that it does those things. You're going to take Kathy's time, so please don't do that necessarily. I'm showing you guys that this is something that you want to do to try and push people to. Booking a strategy call is really important stuff to do. And as you grow your skill level and your experience, you can really expand to more automation and outsourcing. You heard me say that earlier that I have virtual assistants, right? I also have in-house team members. You can also use those automation programs. I, again, will stay away. I recommend, these are all three that are automation systems. I recommend in today's world, 2019, I would probably recommend to stay away from those systems. You saw earlier how I use Linked Helper. That's as far as I'd recommend you go. That's my personal recommendation. I don't want to see you get your LinkedIn account banned. Microsoft bought LinkedIn, if you guys didn't know that. But Microsoft's starting to crack down on those automation systems, and you got to be very, very careful. And like I said, I will tell you, my team does this completely by hand. Microsoft has started to clamp down on automation programs, so be very, very careful. I'd recommend starting this all by hand and all from scratch, and then grow, like I said here, right? As you grow your skill level and experience, expand to more automation and outsourcing. Specifically, as you have success, as you have some cash flow, you can hire a virtual assistant or in-house team members. I would stay away from automation programs. And people are going to say to me, but Chris, if we shouldn't use the automation programs, why bring it up at all? Because you're going to see them out there in the marketplace, and they're going to think there's a better way. And I'm telling you about it so you understand that is an issue right now. We used them a lot 2 years ago. We used them a lot a year ago, but Microsoft's getting crankier and crankier and crankier about this stuff. So just be very aware of it. And that's why I'm telling you about it. I'm not saying go use them and go jump on them. I use Linked Helper and I showed you how we do it, but that's the why. Okay. So like I said, instead of avoiding the issue, I'm hitting it head on. So you can see I know these exist. I definitely just recommend using real value, structure, and true internal delegation. I did this for years with my IT services provider. We didn't have all these tools that we have now. So just make sure that you do that stuff. It's really, really critical. And I want to stress again, that real value piece is a massive, massive factor. That is a big factor to getting it there. Make sure you do those things we looked at. So the bottom line is, yes, LinkedIn works. And this program, everything I'm talking about, everything I showed you today, that program, mindset, strategy, the processes and the scripts also work across the board on multiple different platforms. You just have to kind of adapt them a little bit, but it works on Facebook. It works on cold email. It works on all these other platforms for cold messaging. We're actually testing Shaper right now. If you guys haven't seen Shaper, it's SHAPR. It is an app on iPhone and Android, iOS and Android. And we're testing the same thing. We're making connections and using the same exact messaging and the same exact structure. So all the strategies, like I said, the mindset, the strategies, the processes, the scripts, all of it works across multiple platforms. You just have to stop reaching for the moon all the time. I understand that I'm saying that we want to hit home runs with clients. That's the type of client. But when you're trying to get them to raise their hand and say, yes, I want to talk to you, all you're necessarily worried about in that scenario is getting them to take a little nibble of what you're doing and see if you're worth the squeeze. That's what they want to see. So just be aware that you don't want to go after it. Think about like dating. You don't go walk up to a girl and make out with her on the first, or guy, whatever case it is, and make out with them in the first interaction. You're going to get slapped, right? I don't care who you are. You're going to get slapped. That's how I met my wife, though, just for the record. That's not true. But the bottom line is, if you slowly introduce yourself and slowly get them to trust you, eventually they will date you and maybe someday marry you. It's the same concepts with working with prospects, working with clients. Okay, so keep all that in mind. So with all that info above, you can use all those steps to build yourself a full cold LinkedIn lead generation system. That is the program. Everything I walked in here, it's taken me probably 4 to 5 years to build everything that I show you here. And we are still using it every day. We're evolving every day and teaching all these different things every day. And you can see that I've built and grown that whole thing from scratch. And I've grown now both my digital marketing agency, that's the Wiser agency, and my 7-figure MSP IT consulting firm to 7 figures in under 2 years. Both of them are in that case. So that is a big factor. And it's all about lead gen. It's building these systems. Not necessarily, yes, and I will say this again to all of you. I know you want to be good at your craft. I totally understand that you want to be very good at your craft. You want to be the best thing. But you need to have cash flow and you need to have sales in order to expand your business. Do you want a job and a career? That's, a job and a career is working for someone else technically. Do you want to have a job, or do you want to have a corporation that builds you a lifestyle? That's what I choose to have. I choose to have a lifestyle. Those of you that know me personally, there's a lot of people on this webinar and are watching the recording that know me personally, you know that I live a lifestyle. I don't work Mondays and I don't work Fridays. I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I travel a lot. that's something that I do. I take my wife on vacations and I do that. I built and that's not me bragging that I'm some rich dude. I'm not rich compared to a lot of people that are out there. But the bottom line is I built myself a lifestyle that doesn't make me massively stressed out. I do what I want when I want, and I have a lot of fun doing it, and I really enjoy my life. That's why we're in business, isn't it? That's the whole point. That's why I want to start a business. That's the whole deal. I don't want to work for someone. I'd also probably go crazy, but that's neither here nor there. So, and it's bottom line is this whole thing. It's an awful lot of work to do on your own, and that's why I built my Linked Academy training program. Linked Academy is an awesome set of stuff with all the methods you saw readily available in video form. Everything that we went through today is all there in video form. There's tons more. How to optimize your LinkedIn profile, how to use the LinkedIn mobile app, how to do cold LinkedIn lead gen, how to do cold email lead gen, how to do LinkedIn ad targeting, and tons more stuff. There's all that stuff there inside of Linked Academy. And plus, there's also a live weekly coaching call that's completely run by me. Almost all the time, I have my social media strategist, Shelby, that's come on there. She comes on there with me, and we have a great time, and we take Q&A from people. It's a video call that people are on live. So keep that all in mind. And Linked Academy normally sells for $9.97. Recently, we've reduced that price to only $47 per month. This is not a long-term commit, and this is not a monthly minimum. You could pay one time, go through everything, and if you crash course it, you're going to get the course for $47. Okay, those are all things that are real. It's, again, $47 a month. You can get it today. I'm going to show you the URL. You go to linkedacademy.co. No, there's no M there. linkedacademy.co/order-page. You can also just go to linkedacademy.co, and it'll take you there. You just got to click one more button. But I'd love to have you guys inside on my course with me and on the coaching calls and maturing and growing your business. This stuff takes time and it takes structure. So keep in mind, $47 a month, that's all it costs now. We've reduced that price from $9.97 to $47 a month. It's going to go back up, but I've done it for a very short term to get you guys in there and to show you the value that we have. So that being said, I promised all of you on the webcast with me today that you would get a free deliverable. And I want to make sure that you guys get that. So that free ultimate LinkedIn sales kit is there for you on the bit.ly link that you see on the screen. It's bit.ly/ultimate LinkedIn sales kit. Keep in mind, it is case sensitive. So do not type it in the way it sits. It is ultimate LinkedIn sales kit, case sensitive, bit.ly/ultimate LinkedIn sales kit. Okay. With that being said, I am going to stop the share. Go on video. Hopefully you guys saw that. I'm going to make sure you see this really quick one more time. linkedacademy.co. Oh, I got orders coming in. Awesome. Love that. Love to see you guys responding to a great offer. Appreciate your time today. If you guys have questions, I'm going to go to the Q&A right now. So let me just bounce out of that. Whew, we got a full room. We got a ton of stuff here. Let me see what we got here in terms of questions. Appreciate all your attention today, by the way, guys. All right, going through questions here. All right, let's see here. A couple people said they tried Post Daily. Lori asked, what info gets downloaded when you download using LinkedIn Linked Helper? Gives you basically everything that's in their LinkedIn profile comes down to the spreadsheet. So it gives you, actually, let me see if I can pull one up here for you. Hold on. I'm going to open up the actual one that we downloaded just a few minutes ago, and I'll share that. Let me just, sharing the screen right now. Give me a second. Let me get there. Okay. So here's the actual, spreadsheet that it downloaded. You can see there's full name right here, profile URL, first name, last name, avatar, title, company, and position. That's what comes down. Now, what I do usually with that, so you know that, I give that raw list to my virtual assistants, which I hire. You can hire them on Upwork. You can hire them on, there's a bunch of places you can get virtual assistants from anywhere in the world, or you can have an internal employee do this. Virtual assistants are anywhere from $5 to $7, maybe as much as $10 an hour. But I give them that raw list and I say, go populate it with mobile phone numbers, and email addresses. So mobile phone number, and email addresses. And that enables me to do a few different things. Number one, we have their email. That's big, right? And LinkedIn used to give you your email, by the way, and as soon as Microsoft bought it, about 9 months, that's probably a year ago now, Microsoft took that away from the download of the archive of your connections. They don't give you that anymore. But we populate with email, mobile phone, and phone. All those things allow us to put ads in front of those people. Not only if we get them to opt in, we can put ads in front of them, but you can upload that list and put ads in front of those people. So that's a big factor, both on LinkedIn and on Facebook. That's called a custom audience or a LinkedIn matched audience. Both those things exist. So Laura, hopefully that answers your question on that last one. Let's see what we got here. That was for Lori. Hopefully they got that for you. Bill just asked, does my MSP Elite program include the Linked Academy? Yes, it includes my full Facebook ads program, and my Linked Academy is included with it. So yes, it does include that. So that's for you, Bill. Somebody else said, any chance I can show the bit.ly link again? Let me bring that up for you. Let's see here. Thank you for whoever said about the, somebody said my link looks like it's broken, so we'll fix that. But bottom line is you have to put the www in front of it, looks like. So we had a problem, but sorry about that. But Ron just asked, does Sales Navigator give you email address? Does not give you email. I just explained that. Hopefully that gets that answer for you. Again, they used to give that to you, but they don't anymore. You can also use a tool called Scrap. It's SKRAPP. That sometimes pulls email addresses, but it's not that great. We use hunter.io, email hunter. All these Chrome extensions allow us to pull email addresses, and I let the VAs do all that work. So $3 to $5 to $10 an hour, depending on where you get your VAs and where they're at, you can pull all that data for you. Yes, and I understand stuff takes work. I get it. But bottom line, those lists are very valuable, right? Think about how much, if you were a show, let's say you're going to do trade shows, think about how much it costs you to buy a list from a trade show with all that info in it. I'm telling you how to do it for pennies on the dollar compared to buying a list from a show. So just remember all that. Okay, a couple more questions. Do you recommend a service or system to create context such as scripts for cold emails, LinkedIn messages? Honestly, it's tough. I mean, the bottom line is everything I showed you today, you should be able to create it. It's making sure you have real value in that. That's always the biggest key. Keeping it super simple. Don't try and get a client meeting on day one. Just get them to do a little bite of what you're doing. A lot of times we go deliverable we get them to opt in. First of all, we get them to click in some capacity or open the message. That's buy one. Then we try and get them to opt in, which is your second thing. That's like buy two. If they opt in, we get them to try and click on a URL and some type of an email. That's buy three. And so by this point, I'm not even to my 7-figure MSP sales page yet. Think about that. Then I try and get them to go to the 7-figure MSP sales page, which is actually my video page, my sales page. That's where they opt in again. Then they go there to watch a video sales letter. They fill out an application. That's like buy number 6 and 7. Then they go to actually book an appointment. That's buy number 8. So I'm trying to get all these little mini buys, mini, buy, trying to get them to do all this different stuff. So at that point, then they have so much trust in me by the time they get to that point that it's almost a no-brainer, right? So just keep that in mind. Okay, let's see here. I'll figure out the link stuff, folks. I apologize for that. I'll have to look at it, but I think it's HTTPS, and it's I don't know, something got screwed up on the back end, but don't let that kill you. I'm not too worried about it right now, but we'll figure that out. And yes, somebody just posted the bit.ly link in there for me, so thank you. And somebody just posted the Linked Academy link in there for you, so thank you for doing that, you guys. I was just about to do that. Let's see, I got some other stuff in the Q&A here. Let me just open this up here. So Tracy answered the question about do you get email addresses with Linked Helper, so thanks, there you go. And then some other people are putting that in there for you guys. Okay, there we go. So somebody actually asked about Duck Soup and Meet Leonard. So Duck Soup is just another program that allows for automation. Same with Meet Leonard. Both of those do very similar things. All three of them are about the same. I choose to use Linked Helper specifically because it allows me to export the connections or the list. That's why I use Linked Helper, and that's all I do it in. We used to use Duck Soup. In fact, I still talk a lot. I left all the lessons inside of Linked Academy that are directly related to Duck Soup. But the bottom line is they're all very similar. It's all about automation. I've actually never used Meet Leonard personally. We used Duck Soup for a long time, but it's all the same stuff. It's just a different fruit, same squeeze, basically, concept behind it. Thank you so much, guys, for posting all the links there. That's awesome. I appreciate you guys doing that. This is going to be, again, this is recorded, and you guys will all be sent the recording, so don't freak out about it. And I'm not going to, anybody that's here is still going to get the price point, so don't freak out. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. So Chi just asked me also, is there a specific program you use to track all the processes you recommend? So this is a great question, because the answer on that is no. We're still using this by Spreadsheet. I've yet to find a good program. In fact, I should just make one, but I hate software development. Honestly, that's the truth. I hate software development and I don't want to deal with it. But probably the best one that I've seen, I don't know. I mean, there's so many different options, and we use ActiveCampaign and we track all of our tasks in there, but it's not perfect. HubSpot exists. There's Close.io. There's a bunch of different programs that are out there. There's also the marketing side of things, which is like Monday.com. If you guys have heard of Monday, there's also the project management side. We use Asana, all these different things together. We manage almost all of our stuff inside of ActiveCampaign. And there's stuff inside of the actual cheat sheet that you're going to see that you get with the download today that's got that stuff in there. So keep that in mind. Okay, so Gladys also asked me, in your experience, what kind of invitation note has the rate of getting has the highest rate of getting accepted? So here's the bottom line. And Gladys, I would encourage you to go back and she said she just got in. Go back and watch the recording, and you'll see all of that stuff. But the bottom line is, on connection requests, I've seen less than 2% difference of sending the default LinkedIn connection request versus all this custom crap. We do almost exclusively short messages, and the bottom line is your vertical is key, and making sure that your deliverable is key. Before you dive into that, Gladys, go back and watch the recording. You guys are going to get sent that to you as a follow-up to today's call. So please go do that. And we do go through this inside of Linked Academy, so I'd highly encourage you to join that. We have coaching calls every week, and that's all there for you. And Gladys just put this in there. Yes, you guys will have access to the recording, so you'll get that sent to you. So I'm not going to go through that. So Ed Stillman just said, my focus is Austin business owners. Ed, I'm in Austin, sir. I live on South Congress. So love it that you're here. It's literally 1,000,000 degrees outside. It's 98 right now as I look at my watch. My focus is Austin business owners. Do you have interest in becoming a presenter to business owners and key executive groups? Biz dev for you, being able to reach $10 and $15 million business owners. We can talk about that. That's not necessarily why I did the webinar today, but sure, I'm open to talking about it. Just shoot me an email or a LinkedIn message, right? So let's see what else we got. Any other questions here? I think we are tapped out on questions. What a great webinar today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed everything. If you guys have any other last questions, I'm here till we're done. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. Mark just said great content. I appreciate that very much. Sorry about the links being broken. I guess the QA got screwed up, so I apologize. Like I said earlier on the green room before we started, sometimes stuff breaks. It's not perfect. I literally have a blanket behind me. If you guys can't see that, I'm sitting in a tiny bedroom because I sold my house, and my wife and I are in the process of buying a new house, and you do what you got to do. That's it. That's how it works. So, okay. Hopefully you guys had a good time today, and I'd love to have you. My dogs are barking because I just clapped my hands. But she just said, any other program you offered other than here? I do have my Facebook ads course. It's www.fabcourse.com, fabcourse.com. That's my Facebook ads course. And then Amjad, so we got some more questions coming in. Amjad just said, LinkedIn profiles, can we create a specific one? So here's the thing that I would do on your LinkedIn profile. First of all, the deliverable I have today, the cheat sheet goes over building a custom profile. I would have a profile for yourself, not like 7 profiles for yourself per vertical. I would have a profile for yourself. Just mimic mine. Look at mine on LinkedIn and you'll see what it is. I offer various different things. You can see that I'm teaching to not only just to managed IT service providers, but I'm teaching also to the general business owner. Over half of you on this call are not IT service providers. So just because of that doesn't mean that people aren't going to be interested in LinkedIn. So the bottom line is content is king, value is key, execution will rule the day, folks. If you execute, you're going to have success. If you execute for 3 days, you're going to fail. If you execute for even 3 weeks, you're probably not going to see a lot of results. If you build systems and strategies that you know can work and really are consistent with this, you will see success. If you do this for 3 months, you're going to see success. Think about the workout regimen example I gave earlier. If I eat clean and I work out every day for the next 90 days, any of you can ask yourself this question. If I eat clean and work out every day for the next 90 days, will I feel better, look better, be better? The answer is yes, without question. So Jason just said, do you have any scripts from back in your MSP owner days? Honestly, I didn't use LinkedIn like this back then. That's that's a big factor into what's made us automated now. Now think about this. So let's go back to my MSP owner days. Back my end of that was June of 2015. I had 6 internal cold callers. Think about the expense that is. I had 30 people. I think I had 29 people. Over half were sales and marketing. And I did $3.5 million in revenue. So now let's fast forward to 2019. I have 3 employees. I have 14 virtual assistants. And each one of my companies does over $2 million in revenue with that. So keep that all in mind, right? So that's what automation has allowed me to do. It's allowed to cut out, and it's not even so much automation with software, it's automation with virtual assistants. Those virtual assistants are what kill it for us, really, honestly. We do so well with that, and they're so affordable that they're doing a lot of busy work for us. So keep that in mind, Jason. I appreciate the question. And all of you are welcome to reach out to us on LinkedIn or reach out to us on Facebook or whatever you want to do. A couple more questions coming in. How many people are you messaging once they've connected in LinkedIn per day? I would say, I'd have to ask Kathy. I don't know exact numbers on that, but she's doing between 50 and 90 requests daily. And she's, I think we're seeing about a 35 to 40% acceptance rate with probably another 50% of that. So probably overall, I'd say about a 20 to 25% rate. Now keep in mind, I've picked my vertical really well. I've also done research on making sure that I deliver real, true value. I'm giving them stuff, and I've built all of my deliverables with that in mind. I'm delivering all this stuff all the time that's geared specifically towards delivering value to my vertical that they care about. That is really, really important. Okay, you guys got great questions, and I really appreciate it very much. It helps me do my job. So James just also asked, contact successful conclusion, sell ratio via LinkedIn contacts. I would say 7%, 6 to 7%, but it also depends on the vertical. If you specifically only go after lawyers, it's probably going to be 2%. If you, I think I'm probably in probably the 5 to 7% range, but even still, you think about the ratio of response on direct cold mail, like snail mail, it's less than 1% now. That's just for open rate. So just keep in mind, I'm talking about 5 to 7% actual client conversion. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that, honestly. So I don't know those exact numbers off the top of my head, but I can definitely find it for you. Mark asked, you mentioned using ActiveCampaign and how you use that with your sales kit. Not sure what download that's in. That is in the cheat sheet, I believe. And it's not necessarily a walkthrough on that. We have a referral link on that. My suggestion on there was I would go into the affiliate link that we have there, click on it, and there's a downloadable trial. So take a look at the trial and see what you got. And we can show you how we use it if you guys want to see that. We can do another future webinar on how we use ActiveCampaign. But the bottom line is, here's what I do. We manage our clients in our client management software. I would recommend this for all of you, especially you IT service providers. IT service providers have what's called a PSA, a professional services automation tool. And typically, historically, they manage everything in there. I would manage only your clients in your PSA. So I had ConnectWise when I was in an MSP. We managed only our clients in ConnectWise. Everything else was managed in front of that. And we actually used MailChimp back then. But I would use ActiveCampaign now to manage all your leads and your prospects, your leads, prospects, suspects, whatever you want to call them. And then as they become clients, I'd manage them inside of your PSA. I'd probably do the same thing if you were like a Salesforce person. I would use an email program in front of it, and then or a CRM program in front of it, like ActiveCampaign, Close.io, Pipedrive, whatever you want to use, and then move down. So, okay. I am 10 minutes over right now, so I'm going to let all of you go for tonight. If you have questions, please reach out to me on LinkedIn. Kathy Lovett is also my salesperson. If you are a managed service provider, reach out to her. Go to sevenfiguremsp.com, walk through our sales system, see how we're doing things. We are converting massive amounts of clients. All of my clients that are on the call today, I really appreciate all of you that are here, and I'd love to have more of you in our system. So if you've not gotten Linked Academy, please go get it. It's https://www.linkedacademy.co, and that'll drive you there. So going to sign off with all of you right now. I'm going to close some of my windows up here. It's great to have you tonight. You guys keep crushing it. Go out there. Execution is key, right? This is what I'm telling you. Those of you that know me in person, this is a world that I live by, right? That's a big deal. So make sure you guys do that, and you guys keep crushing it. Chris Weiser signing off. Take care.